What's up YouTube, this is Bobson6868 and I'm going to be using the MP7 with suppressor and red dot and the 44 Magnum with the tactical knife as my secondary. First of all, I'd just like to say, why didn't you tell me that the MP7 was the greatest gun ever invented? I just recently started using it and this gun is amazing. I have about 1,000 kills with it and I'm pretty close to a 2 KD with it. So it's one of my best guns for sure. And I'd also like to say that I got some new rendering settings. I just got a new widescreen LED monitor, and I didn't know that my videos weren't in widescreen. If you haven't used Sony Vegas, there's like at least 20 settings on what size you want your picture to be. And I had them all set on widescreen except for one. So I think I've got that fixed now. Let me know what you think. I also did some color corrections and just kind of to make the colors look a little more crazy. And I know they look a little over the top, but I don't know. I kind of like it that way. So anyways, this video is a personal story video. And okay, before I get into that, I just want to say sorry for my voice. I've been sick for almost 2 weeks now and I'm finally getting over it, but I do sound a little different because I am still congested. But anyways, so this is a personal story video. I want to talk about my worst vacation ever. And if you have a vacation that went pretty bad, I'd like to hear about it. But so my worst vacation ever, it was a couple years ago, and it was with my girlfriend at the time. But also keep in mind, this isn't the one I married, so this isn't my wife that I'm talking about. And I don't know why all these guys just kept running around that corner, and I'm like, okay, just keep coming, I'll keep killing you, I don't mind. And so I was a truck driver at the time, and so my girlfriend back home, she said she wanted to go camping. So I was like, alright, well, next time I come home, we'll go camping. And I kind of live in southern Idaho, where it's more desert. And if you go towards more northern Idaho, it's mountains and forests and all that. And so we were going to go head up by McCall, which is kind of like a big kind of tourist area where it's really nice mountain area, and they have a nice state park up there with a big lake. And I hadn't been up there in a few years, like more than a few, probably close to 10 or 5 or 6, something like that, you know, a while. And I had never driven up there. I'd always gone with my parents. And so we decided we were going to go up and go camping. And on the way from Boise to McCall, there's tons of camping places. And my dad had taken me to several. And I like this kill, finish him off with the 44 Magnum. Yeah. And so I was like, alright, this is what we'll do. We'll drive up there and we'll go up on the way to McCall and we'll just find a place to camp. And so she's like, okay. I don't remember what the heck I had for a car at the time, but I remember I didn't want to drive my car. I remember if it was because I had a Tahoe and it was just going to cost a fortune for gas. I can't remember exactly why it was that I didn't want to drive my car, but I was like, alright. And she had one of the small pickups, and she had subwoofers in it. So, you know, I'm 6 feet tall, and I had driven it before, and I really didn't enjoy it because there was no leg room. And so I was like, all right, but you're gonna have to drive because I'm not gonna drive your truck. And she didn't want to drive, so she's like, well, I'll borrow my brother's pickup truck. And I was like, okay, fine. So I get home, and I can't remember how long we were going for, just a couple days, you know, because when you're a truck driver, you only get to come home for 4 or 5 days. So we went out and bought all the stuff. It seemed like I spent a fortune. I don't even know why. It seemed like I spent a couple $100s on food and whatnot. And so we decided to drive up there, and we have our brother's truck. We get it all loaded. And this is a couple hours from where I live, because at the time I was living an hour out of Boise. It's probably 4 hours in McCall or so. So, like I said, I hadn't been there in a while, so we just head up there, and, you know, I couldn't really find a place to go camping, and before I knew it, we were in McCall, and I was like, what the heck, and I was like, alright, well, let's just go back. Not like back home, double, not back home or anything, but I was like, let's just head back and we'll find something along the way. So we ended up stopping in another town called Donnelly, which is, you know, right up there in the mountains still, and I think it was on a lake too. There's a lake right there, because we did end up going swimming in it. But so we go to this campground, and there's nobody there, like literally nobody there. And so we're like looking around, and the ranger, I don't know who it is, whatever, the employees that work there, they're like, oh, I think we have one spot. And I was like, one spot? There's nobody here. And they're like, oh, those are all reserved. And I was like, oh man, they reserved all those. So we go to the one, and this was probably pretty stupid of me, but I was young and annoyed, and you had to write down the license plate number of your car on your ticket, and you had to pay. And so I was kind of annoyed trying to write down the license plate number and everything. I don't remember exactly what was going on, but so then I put the money in, and then afterwards she's like, oh, it says do not fold, and I folded the money, and I think I put it so you couldn't, there's like a little hole in the envelope and you couldn't see it, and I don't know if that was a problem or not, but so I was just like, whatever, just leave it, I don't care, you know, they're gonna find the money anyways, so we pay. It's not like we didn't pay. So the first day, you know, goes okay, and then I don't remember what day it was exactly. It might have been the second day. No, was it the second? Maybe it was the third day, because I think the second day we went and bought some wood, and then when we woke up, it had been like raining all night, and all our wood got all wet, and it was cold, and it wasn't very much fun. So we went up to, we were gonna go head up to the gas station, because there's a gas station right up the road, and we were gonna buy, you know, like a bundle of wood, because we couldn't even start a fire or anything, and we were like extremely cold. And so we get like just right up the road from the campground, and the truck just dies, and I'm like, oh my god. And I pull over and I open the hood, and it had like a serpentine belt, and it was broken. And I was like, oh man. And like I said, we're a couple hours away from you know, town, and so luckily somebody had driven by, and they were like, they gave us a ride up to the gas station, which I don't know. Now I'm not sure if that was a good idea or not, but so they drove us up to the gas station, and she calls her dad, and I told him it was a serpentine belt. So luckily they were like, all right, we'll drive up, and well, let's watch this kill. 3, 2, 1, 0. Bam! Oh shit! That was a nice kill. But so luckily they were like, all right, we'll drive up and we'll see what we can do. But we're stuck at the gas station, and since we were only planning on just going up there and grabbing some wood, I'm like just wearing a t-shirt and shorts, and it's cold. It is so cold, and we're just at the gas station for like 3 hours or whatever it took them to drive up there, like just going in and buying hot chocolates and what hot dogs and whatever, you know, just to try to keep warm and full and everything. So, you know, it's really not fun to sit outside of a gas station cold weather all day, but we really didn't have much choice. So they finally show up. We're like, yes. And then it even started raining again too, so they finally show up, and they're like, oh yeah, we went to the auto parts store. They said it's not a serpentine belt. They said it's a couple of fan belts. And I was like, what? They're like, yeah, that's what they said. I was like, all right, whatever. So we get back to the car, and they're like, yep, it's a serpentine belt. So I was like, yeah, that's what I said, but I guess they didn't trust me. So then we go up to the auto parts store. Well, before that, they're like, well, the reason it broke is because the power steering pump seized. So I was like, oh, awesome. And then so I had to go to the auto parts store and buy a power steering pump and serpentine belt. And they're also like, oh, and there's no oil in it. It's like, oh my god, why did he let us borrow this truck, and it's like falling apart, and we're going out in the middle of nowhere? And then they blamed it on her that there was no oil, and I was like, well, I don't know. If you let someone borrow your car, you should at least say, hey, yeah, everything on it's broken. So they ended up fixing it, and we enjoyed the rest of our camping trip, even though it was cold. But that was my worst vacation, and I think I'm going to do my second worst vacation here in a week or two. But I would like to hear your vacation stories, so let me know. And in this game, I'm just going to add a little bit of insult to injury there. And I'm going to get the 44 mag kill cam. But I go 37-7 MVP. I really like this game for some reason. Just had this great kill at the end, that great knife kill. I got specialist twice. I thought it was a pretty good game. And feel free to let me know what you think, though. Thanks for watching.